What is wrong with me? Getting old is scary. Hello, Lockdown 2.0. Hello and welcome back to my channel. Now today I have gone for the wintry, maybe Christmassy kind of vibe. I have a nice cozy winter onesie on, which it's the first time I've worn it this year, so that is very exciting. Anyway, today got my cup of coffee and I picked out my massive Harry Potter Marauders map mug because I needed a big coffee, and I figured it was kind of in keeping with the theme of the video, which is today I will be doing the end of year book tag for 2020. Also, my last book themed video that I did was back in quarantine and everyone was doing their quarantine reading list. So if you have not seen that and you would like some more recommendations or ideas of what to read, do check that out. I'll put the link in the description box down below. So it is November at the moment. We are a week into November, so it's well and truly the end of the year. Crazy. How has this year gone by already? Let's not even go there. Do you know what? I've already got a morning voice. Damn, I went out fishing this morning, like early in the morning, and so I haven't actually spoken to anyone yet, and seriously, I'm all deep and croaky. Okay, so let's get right into it. First question, are there any books you started this year that you need to finish? Now, the answer to that is yes. So this book is called Boundaries, and it is written by two Christian psychologists, Dr. Henry Cloud and Dr. John Townsend. Now, I tend to actually have two books on the go at a time. I have sort of my fiction storybook that I'm reading, and then I'll have like a study book. This is my study book. It was a recommendation. Oh my goodness, it's amazing. You can see how far I am into it. But I'm taking my time with it, and I only pick it up when it's on my mind, and I don't want to just rush through it for the sake of reading it. I actually want to absorb and take in what it is telling me. So basically, it is about that. It is about boundaries, and it goes really in depth into how the way people are raised when they're children, their family life, and how that all influences the boundaries that they take on in life. Its little tagline here is when to say yes, how to say no to take control of your life. So yeah, it's really helpful. I am definitely prone to being a people pleaser. I'm prone to saying yes when I don't want to do something because I want to affirm myself and I want people to think I'm a good person and all this kind of thing. So Boundaries has been a really helpful read, and it also has biblical roots, which I find really helpful. But yeah, it's absolutely fascinating. So it kind of goes into the background of what boundaries are. So that section that I've read is literally called What Are Boundaries? And then I'm about to get on to part 2, which is called Boundary Conflicts. So we have boundaries in your family, boundaries in work, boundaries in your children, boundaries and your spouse, etc, etc, etc. Kind of rambled about this a little bit, but it is really helpful, and I really do recommend it. It really, one, it's encouraging, but it also makes you think, oh my goodness, I do that, and that is so unhealthy, and that is so bad for me and the people around me. And it really helps you recognize where your flaws are and where you need to improve things, where you have too many boundaries or where you have not enough boundaries. And yeah, it's really it's a good one, that one. I definitely recommend taking a look at it. I've recommended it to a couple of my friends because I just think everyone needs to read this. I think I will aim to finish it by New Year. Do you have an autumnal book to transition into the end of the year? So obviously it is November, autumn has already started, and the answer to that is yes, I did have an autumnal book to transition me into this time of the year. That book for me was Rebecca. Look, I just adore that front cover. How gorgeous is that? This book I really enjoyed this. I watched the film Rebecca years and years ago, and I could only remember one scene, and it was the very end of the film. And I genuinely could not remember anything else about the plot. So, oh my goodness. At first, this book seems quite slow, but it's like a nice read. It's a gothic novel, for sure. But it seems not too much happens. You're kind of pitter-pattering about everyday life. And suddenly, just over halfway through the book, oh my goodness, mind blown, and it just all gets crazy. It was absolutely brilliant, really enjoyed reading it, and I haven't really been one for reading many older novels or many classic novels. I did English Lit in GCSE and A-level, and unfortunately it kind of put me off. That is more of a reflection of where I was at in my life opposed to the books, for sure. But this has really inspired me to keep reading some classic books, and I'm gonna go with that next year. That's gonna be one of my targets for next year, is reading some more classic books. Is there a new release you're still waiting for? So I was waiting for The Magpie Society, which Zoe Sugg has partnered with someone to write. That has just been released. It was released in October. However, it is going on my Christmas list, because putting books on a Christmas list I just think is the perfect gift. I love it, and it's not too expensive either. So I'm waiting eagerly for that, and that will be a 2021 read. But I mean, people are saying that it's absolutely brilliant. And whilst I've never actually read like a murder mystery thriller, Dan and I love watching true crime documentaries and English police dramas like Line of Duty. By the way, guys, if you've not watched that, that is very good. Silent Witness, like all those kind of things we really enjoy watching. So, I mean, I figured I'd probably enjoy reading it, and the fact that Zoe Sugg has written this book with someone, yeah, I'm sold, that's cool. Love her, love that. So yeah, that is a book that I was waiting for a release, but now I'm waiting for Christmas. What are 3 books you want to read before the end of the year? Okie dokie, I do have 3 books. Now, normally this is a really busy time of year, but hello, lockdown 2.0. So whilst I am still working full time, my social life is sort of non-existent. So all evenings and weekends are pretty much free, apart from going on occasional dog walks, essentially. So I'm hoping that I will successfully be able to read these 3 books before the end of the year. I have an ability to read very fast, and I can smash through a couple of books in a couple of weeks, but realistically it takes me a little bit longer to read books, just because of my lifestyle. I've got a busy lifestyle. So first off is The Switch by Beth O'Leary, and this is literally the first hardback I have ever owned. And I quite like it. It makes reading in bed a lot easier with a hardback, because it just kind of stands there and the print is like a little bit bigger, so you can kind of just perch it on your legs a little bit further away. Yeah, I quite liked it. But anyway, I literally started reading this yesterday, so I've not got very far in, literally a few chapters. Now, I think Beth O'Leary is most famous for her book, The Flat Share. It's actually referenced at the bottom of this book. I've not actually read The Flat Share, but if I like this book, I will most definitely be purchasing it and reading it. Now this is kind of like a feel-good book. I'm getting that vibe, that it's a bit of a cozy book. In keeping with this time of year, I feel. It is about a granddaughter and a grandma who switch houses for various reasons. They switch houses for a couple of months because they're both trying to sort their lives out in different ways. So it's kind of like, oh my gosh, what is that Christmas film called? That I absolutely love. What is wrong with me? Getting old is scary. Oh my gosh, I'm actually gonna have to get my phone, I can't remember. The Holiday! That is the film that I'm thinking of. Yeah, it kind of has a The Holiday vibe to it. So I'm really looking forward to reading it. The reviews are fantastic, everybody raves about it, and it just seems like a lovely feel-good read. So that is the first one. The second one, this is called Iris and Ruby by Rosie Thomas. As you can see, this is a well-loved, slightly older book. It is my mum's, and she has given it to me to read again because it is just so lovely. It makes me cry though, it's super emotional. It's one of those books that switches between the past and present time. So the present time is a granddaughter who goes abroad to live with her grandmother, and past is the grandmother growing up during wartime. It's really good, and I have been wanting to read it again for most of the year actually, but I just keep buying other books to read. So after The Switch, I'm going to read this, and I know I'll just power through it. It's definitely one of my favourite books. It is right up there. That is the second one. And the third one, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. So as you can see, I upgraded my old originals of Harry Potter and bought a brand new set, and they're all matching. The other ones were a little bit past it, so when I moved out, I left them with my parents in case they ever wanted to read them again, and got myself a new set. So at the beginning of 2020, I read all of the Harry Potter books, and I think I might do it again. Harry Potter has got wintry vibes when reading it, through and through. So it only seems right to start reading it at Christmas time. I don't know whether I'll read the rest right now, but I might do. We'll see how sucked in this little book gets me. But I love Harry Potter. They're my favourite books, always have been, probably always will be, because they're just so easy to pick up and read. I'm so relaxed when I read them, and the story is just fantastic. Those are the 3 books that I have yet to read this year. Is there a book you think could still shock you and become your favourite book of the year? It would be quite impressive if one of those books became my favourite book of the year, because at the moment my favourite book so far this year I read back in like January or even February, and it was a book called The Secret Keeper by Kate Morton. And oh my goodness, I have just fallen in love with Kate Morton's writing. I've gone on to read a further 2 of her books this year. But if you're gonna start anywhere, start with The Secret Keeper. It's the most beautiful story. There are twists and turns throughout the way. And again, it's one of these books. The chapters swap between past and present, and they also swap between the characters. So you're gradually building up this picture and finding out the truth about what really happened. The past is set in World War II, and there is a bit of a theme in that I love books that are set in wartime as well. If you have never read Kate Morton before, put that on your 2021 reading list, because it's the most wonderful book. I loved it, absolutely loved it. However, back to the question, if a book were to still surprise me and jump into that favourite book of the year slot, it would be The Switch. I have a feeling I'm going to love this, and therefore I've got a new author to buy all of their books, which is just what I love doing. I find a book that I absolutely love and then I just explore more written by that same author. However, I'm not sure it's got that first place position for me, but I'm pretty excited about reading it. Okay, last question. Have you already started making reading plans for 2021? Yeah, I have, and I've kind of touched on them a little bit already in this video. I might be reading Harry Potter from start to finish, I might not, we'll see. I also want to challenge myself to read a few more classic novels. I'm thinking I'm going to go for Jane Eyre and Emma first. I also have 2 books lined up to take the place of my study book. So once I finished reading Boundaries, I have got Get Out of Your Head by Jeannie Allen, which I just think that front cover is so cool. And it says, in the middle, it says, Stopping the Spiral of Toxic Thoughts. So again, Jeannie Allen is a Christian author, and this book is all about taking control of your mind, taking your thoughts captive, and stopping that spiral of toxic thoughts. Because I know that I can get in my head far too much, and the spiral goes deep and it goes down fast. I don't want that negative thinking. I want to be positive, be confident in who I am, and this is a book to help you actively take control of your thoughts and the battle of the mind. So that's next up to replace Boundaries. And then I also have one more lined up, which is called The Burden is Light. Now this, whoops, this was actually a present from my brother. It is by Jon Tyson, and it says, Liberating Your Life from the Tyranny of Performance and Success. So you may be able to see a little bit of a theme from the Boundaries, Get Out of Your Head, and The Burden is Light. This is also written by a Christian author. It's basically having this study book alongside my relaxed fiction reads to help me better myself, become more aware of myself, and step into my purpose, step into my true identity, and be in control of myself, my mind, my thoughts. This one particularly, I think, has a focus for people who are prone to being anxious and worried and carrying around burdens and not being able to lift them off your shoulders, which my brother clearly recognized in me, and I know he has read the book himself and he said it was absolutely amazing. It says on the back, forget success, comparison and applause. There's a better way to measure what matters. This sounds great. There you have it, guys. I'm now really in the mood to just sit down and read my book. Maybe I'll finish the Switch by the end of today. Who knows? Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments if you have read any of these books before, or if you have any recommendations considering the kind of books you can see that I clearly enjoy reading. Don't forget to give this video a like and please subscribe, and I will see you again soon. Bye bye.